The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Going to pop them up in the top right corner so you know where to look whenever you're looking for a new or used vehicle. You head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They'll take care of you. They go the extra mile for you, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. We thank them for their constant support and sponsorship of not just this show, but everything we do on YSN. We're going to have a great show for you today. We're going to recap all of last night's action. It was a full night of baseball and softball. We had a ton of great performances, a ton of players that kind of shined a light, a ton of guys that you're probably going to see, guys and girls, I should say, that you're probably going to see on Sunday in the starting lineup on the Diamond Roundup show with me, with myself, Steve Leslie, and Sam Torres. Can't wait for that. But a lot to recap, a lot to go over. We're going to have an interview played for you guys with Ella Saleh, the great lacrosse player at Cardinal Mooney High School on the girls team, who is right now sitting on second in the state of Ohio in girls lacrosse for goals scored in the season. So she's having an incredible year. Got a chance to talk with her yesterday, so we're going to play that interview for you guys. It's a great conversation, and can't wait for you guys to hear it. And then, of course, the weather looks great. It's even warmer than yesterday. The sun's out again. I'm looking outside my window here in Boardman, Ohio, and I see a couple of tiny clouds, but mostly clear skies. And the Storm Tracker 21 app says it's going to be warmer at first pitch today than it was yesterday. So we should have a ton of baseball and softball again on the network, which means we're going to have a ton of baseball and softball to preview at the end of the show. So it's going to be a great time. We're glad you're here for it. And let's start this Tuesday episode like we always do on Running Point with the recap of last night's action. And also, like we always do, we're going to start with where I was at. I went down to Youngstown State University, the YSU softball complex, home of the YSU Penguins softball team, and I saw a great offensive game. One of those ones where both teams were flexing their muscles at the plate, and it was Western Reserve and Jackson Milton. There was no better stage than YSU softball complex for this this big rivalry game between Jackson Milton and Western Reserve. Everyone knows what that game means to both programs. It's a trophy game in basketball. Neither team wants to go home losers against the other. And they showed it. Both teams fought so hard. 13-11, though. Western Reserve wins the offensive slugfest. The combined for 24 runs. Jackson Milton scored the last 5 runs of the game, but it wasn't enough because Western Reserve was able to build up a 7-run lead earlier. They were up 13-6, and they ended up winning 13-11. They stranded 2 runners on base in the 7th inning. That would have been the go-ahead run. Well, the tying runs for Jackson Milton. The go-ahead run was at the plate in the top of the 7th. Western Reserve was able to hold on. This did count as Western Reserve's home game, so they were batting in the bottom of the inning. Plenty of contributions from their lineup for the Blue Devils. Hannah Heath, though, perfect night at the plate, going 4 for 4. 4 runs scored, 3 RBI. She also came in the circle in relief and pitched pretty well. for the Blue Devils in a relief spot, especially, like I said, in that 7th inning when Jackson Milton was having all the momentum. They scored the last 5 runs of the game, and they were running hot. They got their first 2 base runners aboard, and you really thought, like, man, this is it. And it was the meat of their order too. It was 3, 4, 5 coming up. I mean, Hannah Heath had to dig deep to get these outs. And that's one of the things I talked to Coach Sarinsky afterwards in their post-game interview, which you can find on ysnlive.com and our YouTube page, by the way. But in her post-game interview, kind of talked about, like, hey, you didn't pitch a perfect game. You didn't play a perfect defense. But when it was clutch time and you needed it, Hannah Heath came up with some really good pitches, struck a girl out, got the last 2 outs of the game, and was able to get out of that 7th inning with the lead intact and obviously with the win. So she played really well. Allison Jones, I talked about her speed for Western Reserve. She is dangerous. I think she's maybe the fastest base runner we have in the YSN family. I know Ayla Ray has a ton of speed at Fitch, and I'm going to see that live tonight. But I mean, Allison Jones last night got bunted on her first at bat, bunted a perfect bunt down, got to first, and just like I said when I coached against her in this winter when she was filling in for a team, she laid down the bunt. It was a small error. It wasn't an error like the girl way overthrew it and the ball went in the outfield. It was a small, like the first baseman let it dribble by her and it went a couple of feet behind her. And Allison Jones was already like turning towards third base by the time the Western Reserve defense was able to pick up the ball. And then by the time the throw got over there was no chance. She got the first to third on an air on a bunt. I mean, it was nuts. She had 4 stolen bases in this game, 3 for 4 on the day. She won the player of the game because of this, the impact her speed made, especially at the top of the order. It was a great performance from her. 3 runs scored as well and an RBI to add to her stats. Kaylee Selly, we've talked about her a lot too, a great shortstop for Western Reserve. She had 4 RBIs on a 2 for 4 day. Kaylee Williams, the bottom of the lineup, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. So she really did a good job setting the table for Allison Jones in the top of the order. So a really good job throughout this lineup for Western Reserve. All those players just really played well. McKaylee Thornhill had a great day at the plate. 3-hit game for the Blue Jays, 3 for 5 RBI, 3 runs scored. Elena Lynn had one of the best days at the plate for the for the game, 4 RBI, going 1 for 3. So a 1 for 3 day, but that one hit made it really worth it. Grace Johns was also productive for the Blue Jays, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs for her. Thornhill got the start in the circle, and she did struggle a bit, but here's the thing that she didn't do that was a bright spot, because one of her struggles in the first game that she started, which was at Springfield earlier in the season, was the walks. And this time she kind of kept the ball in the strike zone, but Western Reserve just kept putting the ball in play, putting pressure on that Jackson Milton defense, and a couple of errors, couple of miscues, and Western Reserve took absolute full advantage of it. I think, Thornhill is a really good pitcher. She played in our All-Star game last year. Obviously, the first 2 starts of her season, not the way that she wants them to go. But I think the first game, she walked a couple of hitters that she didn't want to walk. And then I think in this game, watching it, I think maybe a little bit of over-adjustment, and she came a little bit too far into the zone a couple of times and left the ball a little bit too pretty for these Western Reserve hitters that have now scored in 2 games played 27 runs in 2 games, 14 against Middle Ridge and now 13 against Western Reserve, against Jackson Milton. So this is a potent lineup, and if you make those small mistakes in the strike zone to them, then they're gonna make you pay. They're gonna make when you miss your spots, and that's the tough thing about pitching. I mean, it's a game of inches. I mean, if you go and you put a ball, a rise ball here, it's gonna be probably a swing and miss. But if you put a rise ball just a couple of inches down and it's at the chest, boom, it's going to go really far. And I think some of her rise balls just kind of caught that top of the zone where Western Reserve was able to really get a good piece of the bat on it. So that being said, I still think Thornhill is a really good pitcher. She's going to be a college pitcher. I have no doubt of that in her future. Just got to kind of navigate the struggles, right? That's what softball is all about. Bouncing back from mistakes. It's a game of failure. That's what you say to hitters a lot, because obviously the best hitters in the game, get out 6 out of 10 times. But it's a game of failure for pitchers too. You're going to have games where you miss your spots. You walk more people than you want, or maybe you give up a home run, or you give up more runs than you want. How are you gonna fight through it? And she'll probably have a lot more chances for sure this season to show us how good she really is in the circle. And I have full confidence that she will do that. These two teams will meet again tonight at Jackson Milton this time. Start time for that game is 5 o'clock. I do want to end this recap of this game by giving my thoughts to Lindsey Jones. She's definitely been struggling with injuries for a while, and she went down again last night in this game. She had a really good day before that, was 2 for 2, and it just looked like she came out of the box on a wrong step and went down. Did never want to speculate about an injury on what it might be, but I know she's had injury problems in the past, and I definitely hated to see her go down in so much pain and have to be, carried off the field. So we are going to send all the well wishes and thoughts and the prayers and everything to another speedy recovery, because she is way too good of an athlete to see her off the field. So on that note, we say, we're thinking of you. We hope you get healthy really, really soon. Like I said, the interviews with Katie Serensky and Allison Jones are both on ysnlive.com. And you can also find them on our YouTube page. While you're over there, if you feel so inclined to, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to our channel. And then if you do that, also hit that notification bell on that YouTube channel, because the YouTube algorithm, it's funky. You never really know if it's going to make you miss a video. You never know if it's going to make you miss something that we post. And we post on our YouTube almost every single day, whether it be coaches' corners, player profiles, post-game interviews, game highlights. Our shows are archived on YouTube. So, everything that we kind of do is on our YouTube page, and you don't want to miss a minute of it. Of course, you're a sports fan in the area. You don't want to miss a minute of it. So you have to hit that notification bell so you are always notified of when videos get posted on our YouTube page. Let's continue our recaps, pick out a couple of games here to talk about, and then we'll go over the entire scoreboard of last night. I have to talk about this Waterloo softball game, because we saw probably the best stats of the season so far at the plate for Waterloo standout Jewel Lilly. Listen to these stats. All right. Jewel Lilly had 2 home runs last night, a grand slam, and a walk-off 2-run home run that gave Waterloo the run rule victory. She had 8 RBIs on the night with 2 home runs. And if that wasn't enough, if 8 RBIs and 2 home runs and a grand slam wasn't enough to kind of open your eyes and make you go, oh, that's a good night, she also threw in the circle, and she gave up 8 hits and only 2 earned runs, 5 runs total, 2 of them earned, and 8 strikeouts on the night as well. So got the win in the circle and absolutely just flexed on everybody in the batter's box. I think it's a great day when you have 8 RBI, I would say. We'll talk about Mineral Ridge's standouts as well. Lily Marilillo and Maddie Wylonen. Maddie Wylonen is a player we know very well. She's played in our last 2 consecutive All-Star games. She is a star for the Rams. They had a good day hitting. They both went 2 for 3. And Marilillo was also the pitcher. Only gave up 7 hits, and the problem was that they were big hits, obviously, with 2 home runs hit by Lily. Both teams will meet up again in Mineral Ridge's home opener tonight, and that will take place at 5 o'clock first pitch. That is going to be at Seabourn Elementary School, for those of you that don't know where Mineral Ridge plays softball. But what a performance by Jewel Lilly. Congratulations to her for a big game last night. Let's go into, let's see. How about we talk about Springfield baseball getting the win 6-3 over Lowville. This is one where they are able to keep pace and stay hot. 6-3, they get the win. Colton Rourke had a great day at the plate. He was 1 for 2 with a walk, 2 RBI on the day. And then you also are able to get a great pitching performance on the mound from Braden Butler, who pitched all 7 innings, a complete game. He struck out 4. That's really we talked about it on the Diamond Roundup, really efficient in baseball when you go a complete game and so dominant, because there's that pitch count. You got to watch your pitch count in baseball, obviously. So to go all 7 innings is something we're seeing less and less out of baseball pitchers, because you run into maybe a 5th inning, or you run into 1 inning where you maybe throw 18 pitches or 20 pitches and it throws off your pitch count, and coaches want to not make you have to have that 3-day rest maybe, but Butler was very efficient with his pitches in 7 innings. Like I said, he struck out 4. That could actually be a good thing for baseball pitchers when you're thinking about managing your pitch count. Strikeouts take a lot of pitches, right? Unless you're going the 1, 2, 3, you're gone. But strikeouts usually 4, 5, 6 pitches, and then if it's a battle and you win it, it could be as much 8, 9, 10 pitches. So strikeouts can really tax your pitch count. So maybe that those 4 strikeouts were actually a good thing for Butler, who was able to keep the ball in play, keep the ball into his great defense, and obviously able to get the win. Parker Dobson, Noah Togo, and Shondell Gardner, Ryan Maddie all had multiple hits for the Tigers. And like I said, Colton Rourke had that double with 2 RBIs in the win. The Tigers will finish the series, not season. Whoa. We're in early April. No one's finishing the season. They'll finish the series with Louisville tonight at 5 o'clock at Scene Park. That'll be on ysnlive.com for Springfield and Louisville. How about Austintown Fitch? They were able to get the win last night over Boardman on the baseball diamond, and they continue to really impress. I mean, we said it before. I am really, really impressed with this Falcons team, with all they lost last year. Lost a lot of talent to graduation. And outside of this program, a lot of people probably didn't believe that Austintown Fitch would be the team that could contend in the AAC. And all these young kids, man, coming out and stepping into bigger roles, bigger shoes after so many seniors graduated, they are really playing well. And they get the win last night over Boardman 2-1. And Mason Petrellis really pitched well for the Falcons. Only gave up 5 hits, 1 run. Obviously, it was a pitcher's duel, 2-1. So both pitchers pitched really well for this game. A sac fly scored the Boardman's only run from Marty Stakowitz. Boardman just couldn't get another run, but they did apply pressure. They just weren't able to score runs. The game-winning run for Fitch was scored in the 4th inning. Hayden Wormuth scored it, singled to right field on a 1-1 count, and he scored 1 run. Gavin Hyde was the pitcher for Boardman. He pitched well, 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, struck out 7. That's just one of those tough luck losses for a pitcher that you get a lot of times in baseball, where you're pitching well, you're keeping the team in the game, and they just score 1 more run than you. I mean, a 2-1 baseball game is a really good one. I don't think either of these teams want to hang their hats on anything. It's early in the season, and they're going to play each other again tonight. So, but what a baseball game, and what another win for Austintown Fitch. Still undefeated in the AAC with a sweep over Howland earlier in the season, and now, obviously, the first win over Boardman. They'll look for the sweep tonight as they play on the baseball field at Boardman. Let's talk about the softball diamond with these 2 matchups. Austintown Fitch softball was able to get the win over Boardman 7-0 last night, and Abby Toth continues to really, really open eyes as a freshman. She hit another home run on this night. That makes 3 home runs for her in the last 2 games. Sydney Watts was also just, herself. She another shutout performance. She struck out 4. And then you look at McKenna Hogan. She's really delivering at the plate, having a great season, batting over 500 on the year. By the way, is McKenna Hogan. She hit well. Ayla Ray hit well. Caitlin Mitchell had an RBI single that brought home Ayla Ray, who got on to second base. McKenna Hogan, another RBI to extend the lead to 3-0 in the second. And then, like I said, Abby Toth with the home run. And Fitch is 5-0 on the season. Boardman 2-2. And they will play again today. And this one will be at Boardman. It'll be Fitch's first road test. They've been playing at home their whole season First 5 games of the year, all at home. Now they get to go to Boardman to play tomorrow night. You can find a post-game interview by Ty Bartell with Sydney Watts and Abby Toth, as well as post-game thoughts from Steve Ward on ysnlive.com in the recap. So let's go over the actual scoreboard, get all your scores in from last night as well, and we'll go to our graphics page our graphics page on our Instagram and get all the scores from last night for you. Obviously, we can't sit here and recap every game. We'd be here forever. Hoban softball got the win last night over Louisville 6-2 as they continue their impressive season. South Range, they rocked Niles on the softball diamond 20-0 final score there. Poland baseball got the win over Struthers. They are still undefeated in the conference, 6-1 the final score. Hubbard baseball got the win over Jefferson 15-5. Big one for the Eagles on the baseball diamond. Columbiana was able to beat Latonia 15-0. Roush pitched a no-hitter for Columbiana, so congratulations to him for being able to do that. We already told you about Fitch. JFK got the win 4-1 over Ursuline. Lakeview baseball able to win 10-0 over Girard. We saw Harrison Central baseball. They took it to East Liverpool, 10-0 final score there. Then we saw Edgewood baseball get the win over Crestwood, 13-2 final score over that one. Edison softball looked very good, 17-0 over Beaver Local. They are 3-1 in the season. Another great performance by Katie Fluharty as she struck out 7 with her shutout 5-inning performance. A good baseball game in United as they were able to hold off Heartland Christian 6-5, the final score there. The Eagles get the win for that battle of 2 Columbiana County teams. Crestview able to beat Liberty on the baseball diamond last night, 10-0, the final score there. Lisbon gets the win 21-5 over East Palestine. What a great offensive performance by a lot of Lisbon hitters. Champion gets the win over LeBray last night, 7-1, the final score there. Good day for Carson Fife, who had a great day at the plate for Champion. Columbiana softball gets the win 22-0 over Latonia. We saw Garfield softball get their first win of the year, 10-0 over Newton Falls. Crestview softball in the MVAC, great here. They beat Liberty 16-4. Springfield baseball won 6-3 over Lowville. We talked about that final score for you. And those were some of the scores that we were able to get in last night. With that being said, we're going to take our break. And when we get back, we'll have an interview with Mooney lacrosse, girls lacrosse player Ella Saleh from Mooney when we get back on Running Point. Brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. Greenwood Chevrolet goes the extra mile for you, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. We got a lacrosse interview to get to here on Running Point, and we're going to get to that. Ellis Saleh, the great lacrosse player out of Cardinal Mooney, who is right now second in the state of Ohio in goals scored on the season. She's having a phenomenal year, and I had a chance to talk with her yesterday. So here is that interview. Hope you enjoy this great talk. Anthony Hartwig here with our first lacrosse player profile of the season. I'm joined by Cardinal Mooney's Ella Zaleh. Ella, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And your coach is telling us so many great things about you, but the first thing I want to ask you about is just the sport of lacrosse at Mooney. Obviously, it's growing at a very big rate. You've almost doubled the number of girls on your team this year than last year. What's it been like kind of being a part of this program and watching it grow year after year after year?
Yeah, it's awesome because when I first started freshman year, there weren't very many people. And just because we aren't in the Cleveland area, no one really knew about it. I knew about it from my sister when she played, so I'd play in the backyard with her and her friends. But it's just awesome to see the sport grow and just to allow everyone to get exposure of it.
You know, when you came into Cardinal Mooney and started in the program, what were some of the things that you kind of have grown as a person throughout the years on this lacrosse team?
My skill wise, I mean, that has definitely improved, but also just my confidence on the field. With all my teammates' support and my coaches, Tony and McKenna, I have just grown as a player overall, and it's just very exciting to be on the field for every game. And
I'll tell you what, for someone that only kind of played in the backyard before they started high school and never really had like that organized lacrosse growing up, you have really set the tone for this team. You're second in the state of Ohio in goals scored right now. What's working so well for you this season?
I think just having chemistry with my teammates, both on and off the field. Addison Stacy always is there to assist me. And so I think we just work really well together, and just having confidence and faith in one another works well.
And you're talking about chemistry with your team. When we had Coach Shaheen on earlier in the season, she was previewing the year. She told us how many freshmen you guys have on this team. What's it been like kind of molding the veterans and the people that are really experienced with all the young girls that are coming on this team as well?
It's just awesome to see like all of the freshmen, a lot of them play basketball and so they can transition like their skills and like knowledge of the game of basketball onto lacrosse field because it's somewhat similar. And so it's just awesome to see all of the, the upperclassmen who have a few years under their belts and experience helping out the freshmen, but even the freshmen giving the upperclassmen some advice too, just because there are a few upperclassmen that are new to the game as well.
You are obviously asked to be a big of a leader of this team. How would you describe your leadership capabilities? What kind of leadership do you bring to the table?
I mean, I'm not one to like yell or like at the other teammates. That's usually Maria Pecchia. But I think just having the knowledge of the game and like the higher skill set, a lot of the younger girls do look up to me just that role, even if sometimes I don't have the most confidence in myself either.
I like that you bring up your knowledge of the game because obviously, since you started at Mooney, your lacrosse IQ has probably gone way up. What would you kind of attribute that to? What gives you a lot of the knowledge that you've been able to acquire over your career so far?
Honestly, from my sister and her friends that played, they were the ones that like showed me all the rules and everything, and Tony and McKenna. But I also do watch a lot of college lacrosse games, and so I just look at how the girls play out there.
When you were developing all your skills, what was the hardest thing to kind of grasp initially? The hardest thing to kind of get, the hardest skill to master?
Oh, right now, I'm trying to master the behind the back shot, and so a lot of my teammates and my coaches and the refs try and cheer me on to try it in a game, but I haven't yet because I'm a little scared. But hopefully, I can master that throughout the season.
Well, hopefully you can get that in the game soon. We can get it highlighted on YSN because that would be some kind of feat to be able to pull that off. Um, so talking about this team a little bit further, it's our first not our first season covering you guys, but our first season getting some player profiles, getting Coach Shaheen on to talk about it. Give us an insight into what the personality of this locker room is and what kind of, the personality of this team is.
We are just a bunch of, I don't even know. We have probably 3 brain cells all combined within the team. Everyone is always making TikToks or just dancing and screaming to the most random songs. It's so fun.
What teammate has the best TikTok account since everyone's making them?
We made our own Moon Black's TikTok account, and so Abby and Peyton are always posting on it, and so it's very interesting.
One of the things about this Moody team that a lot of people probably don't understand or don't know if they cover it, you guys have to travel quite a bit. I mean, there's not a ton of lacrosse teams here in the area, so to get teams to play, you got to go a little bit out of the area. What's that like, making trips to Cleveland, making trips to that Cleveland Akron area and constantly trying to play teams that are further away from you?
It's nice, but it's exhausting for a lot because we have like 4 games a week, and if they're all in Cleveland, then it's hard to like level out your schoolwork and the games because you're getting home late. You're eating dinner like 10:30, but it's also nice to have the exposure of playing those Cleveland.
The other thing about this program is they've earned enough success after the success from last year and respect that those teams want to come and play you guys in Youngstown. What's that like when you're able to finally bring some of those Cleveland and Akron teams down here and not have to travel up there to see them?
Oh, it's so nice. I like having the home field, and I like not traveling, and it's just comfortable. And it's kind of funny just to see a lot of like the Cleveland team's reactions to the Youngstown area because like it's not what a lot of people expect. So it's funny.
And then when we talk about lacrosse in the area, like I said, there's not a ton of teams, but it's growing. It's growing in the area. As a lacrosse fan, as a lacrosse athlete, what's it like to look around and see a bunch of programs starting to grow and starting to really become really good lacrosse programs just in our area?
I think it's awesome to see it just grow in our area because all those Cleveland teams, the girls started in elementary school, and in this area we're not exposed until high school. And I wish that my parents were able to get me in the program earlier. And so now having it develop a lot more in this area, it's nice to get these young kids exposed.
All right, so not only are you leading on the lacrosse team and showing people how to do it on with the stick and ball, but you're also kind of showing people through adversity. And you have to deal with that. They have to maintain your sugar before games and in halftime sometimes. Obviously, you are not alone as an athlete that has to deal with that. There are plenty of college athletes and professional athletes that have been very open about dealing with diabetes. From your perspective, what's it been like navigating the high level of lacrosse and being as good as an athlete as you are while having to manage that?
It's not always easy. There are some days during like the games I always seem to go high from all of the heat or the adrenaline, and then I will sometimes go low. And so like last year, Lena Rotuno, she always had a lifesaver in her sock in case I went low on the field. And I don't think a lot of people do understand the basis of diabetes, and it's a complex disease, but I just do my thing and let it work.
You know, Coach Shaheen really wanted to kind of highlight what you go through and how you have gone through it. What are some of the things maybe early in your athletics career, maybe you struggled with that you have gotten past, or you've been able to kind of not feel the way that you used to about, dealing with it anymore? What are some things that you've gotten past?
Yeah, when I was first diagnosed about 4 years ago, my mom just wanted it not to affect my athletic career. And so the first week out of the hospital, I was going on runs with my mom. I was going back to soccer practices, but I was still just in the back of my head constantly worrying, like, is my blood sugar okay? Like, how is this going to affect me? Am I gonna have to stop playing sports? But now it's just a daily routine and I'm just used to it.
I imagine going through something like that, you've had to find resources of inspiration or things to kind of get you through the rough days. What are some of your biggest role models or forms of inspiration that you look towards?
I'd say my biggest role model is probably my sister. She played lacrosse all 4 years in high school, and she's now in the ROTC Air Force. And she just shows me that no matter what and who I am and what adversity I do face, she's always there for me, and my whole family's just there to support me.
Let's talk about outside of lacrosse. Obviously, you're a student athlete, and the student comes first in that word for a reason. What are some of your favorite subjects to learn in school? What kind of things do you like to study?
I used to be a big math girl, but not anymore. Right now, I'm taking guitar class, which is interesting. I'm not very musically inclined, but I'm learning a few chords.
What's taken over the math part? Because you said you used to be a math girl, but now it's getting a little bit not math. What took over math in your brain?
Oh, I mean, I do like to focus on my lacrosse, but I like English now. I don't know why, but whenever my mom makes a grammatical error, I always like to correct her, even if she gets mad at me.
You know, I gotta tell you, they're kind of a unicorn because most people I talk to that say math or say English, I have a complete disdain for the other end of the spectrum. Like they do not like math if they like English, and they do not like English if they like math. When you think about some of the teachers though that have been through your high school career, are there any that have really impacted your journey?
Pete Smith, he was my freshman year math teacher. He's always made me laugh. I always see him in the hallways. And the other day when I did hit my 100 goals, he was like, "Yeah, like I expected that from you, but I'm ready to see 300 by the end of senior season."
Perfect segue because when you hit that 100th goal, we saw a lot of support run your way from the Cardinal Mooney athletics account and their school system. What was it like to see the entire student body and the entire kind of community of Cardinal Mooney really kind of applaud that milestone and be able to show you some support when you were able to hit 100?
It was just incredible to see everyone supporting me, and a lot of people honestly like didn't know I was very athletic just because I don't like to flaunt about it and I'm not a huge talker in school. So, it was just crazy to see the amount of people that would come up to me in the halls and like congratulate me when I've never really talked to them, but it was really nice.
All right, because lacrosse is a niche sport that a lot of people haven't grasped yet, I'm sure you get a lot of questions about lacrosse and a lot of what the heck is lacrosse? What do you think is the funniest question you've ever received from someone that doesn't know lacrosse about the sport?
Oh, there's someone, I think it was the Spanish teacher here. She asked me if it was like golf or like field hockey, and we'd hit the ball on the ground with the stick, like the end of the stick, and put it by the net. So that was quite interesting. Don't really know who's on that, but he's
What do you think is the biggest misconception about your sport from people that maybe haven't gotten into it yet?
A lot of people, I mean, they think it's really hard, which it is. It's not an easy sport to grasp, but I feel like if you have like soccer or basketball background, it's easier to pick up the skill set of.
Obviously, you've put a lot of time in it to get to where you're at. So to do that, you have to have fallen in love with it. What was it about the sport that made you kind of fall in love with lacrosse and working at lacrosse and getting yourself to this level that you're at right now?
I think because it wasn't a very well-known sport that I just found it very interesting, and I grew up playing soccer, and I feel like every little kid, they always grow up playing soccer. And as much as I do love that sport, I think lacrosse just kind of hit a special place in my heart, and I just like being on the field. I like the pace of the game and just the way that's played and the community that it brings.
One of the last things we want to know is obviously you've already accomplished so much in your lacrosse career with the number 2 in goals scored in the state of Ohio. What's next? What's the next bar that you've set for yourself as an athlete?
One thing that I really want to accomplish is the most goals scored in the girls lacrosse game at Cardinal Mooney is 8, and I really want to break it and get 9. So that's my big goal.
I feel like reading through your stats, you've gotten really close a couple of times already this season. So I think you're knocking at that door. I wouldn't be surprised. Ella, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system and all the people that have kind of been there for you throughout the years. I want to give you the time to give all those people a shout out.
Yeah, I want to give a big thanks to my sister and my parents and my Mimi and Angelina Rotuno, who was my best friend on and off the field last year. Maria for always being my best friend. Sophia and Strag, Peyton and Abby, and Soph Rotuno and all the Rotunos, and just Annie and Anna and Lucy, who are my sister's best friends, who are also like my big sisters, and just everyone who comes to support me and the team.
All right, Ella, thank you so much for the time. We wish you the best of luck this year, the rest of your lacrosse season, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
That was Ella Soleil, the great lacrosse player on the girls' side over at Cardinal Mooney. Mooney right now is sitting at 5-1 on the season. They're on spring break. They just got into spring break. They had their last game before the break over the weekend with a win, and now they're on spring break. They'll be back in action, I think, the second week of April, third week of April, somewhere around there. It's a sizable break before they get back on the field, but they are off to a really good start, and can't wait to see what they're able to do. One of the things that I thought was really important about having that interview, and being, other than obviously being able to shine a light on Ella and all the things that she's been able to accomplish, is the raising awareness of athletes like her that have to deal with diabetes as an athlete. There are plenty of ways for people with that disease to become top-notch, top-level athletes. And when I heard that she was kind of that was one of the things that she had to deal with, really wanted to get her on to kind of highlight how she goes through it. It's adversity. Everyone has different forms of adversity in their life, and that's one of the ones that Ella has to face, and she has not let it stop her one single bit. I was kind of introduced to the world of athletes that have to deal with diabetes. One of my friends from Georgia Tech, actually, that played on the volleyball team a couple of years ago, she was a volleyball player that had diabetes, and she had to go through the same things I'm sure Ella has to go to, always checking herself before a game, after a game, making sure she's low, making sure if she's low, and if she is, she has to make sure that she gets sugar inside of her. Great to see her teammates embrace it. No, have lifesavers in their sock in case she needs it during a game. That's the teammate, right? Being able to have your back. I don't know if I want to eat a lifesaver in the sock, but I mean, if it's between that or having low blood sugar, I guess you go with the sock lifesaver, right? I guess they're not sticky until you actually put them in, so maybe they'll be fine. But things like that you go through, and once again, we wanted to highlight that and highlight the fact that these athletes have stories to tell, and that was a great story to hear, and I hear how she's able to kind of get through that and not let it slow her down one bit. She is second in the state of Ohio. Can't say that enough. Second right now in the state of Ohio in goals scored on the season. She's having an immaculate season so far. Got her 100th career goal earlier in this year, and now she's setting the bar higher. She wants to break that Mooney record for goals in a game. She's gotten close a couple of times. She's knocking on that door. I wouldn't be shocked at all if she's able to get that before the end of the season. And if not the end of the season, then definitely the end of her career. She's going to have plenty of goals racked up. So we want to take that time. And, not only are we highlighting her, but we're highlighting the sport of lacrosse. And I want to let everyone know there are other lacrosse teams out there. If you want coverage, if you want interviews, if you want player profiles, we are definitely not shy about interviewing athletes. So we will highlight your lacrosse team. We will get your lacrosse players up. We just need the help of the information. Email us the stats, email us the info, email us the player that wants interviewed. You can message us on any social media accounts. We'd love to highlight the lacrosse players and the track players. We just want all the athletes in the spring season to get highlighted this year. And that's one of the things that I think we've done really well at Running Point on this show so far in its existence, is being able to just get as many athletes as possible their time to shine in any sport. We had a lot of wrestlers come on during the winter sports season. I know that winter sports is dominated by basketball, but we did not shy away from shining light on the wrestlers. And we'll do the same with track and lacrosse and tennis this year as well. We don't want to leave any athlete out, any coach out. If you want highlighted, you just got to let us know. Send a message to our social media. We were more than happy to shine a light on your program if you let us, and if you're interested in doing that. Once again, message us on any social media account. With that being said, let's roll into the previews of the night, see what's going to be on the network on the baseball and the softball diamond. We have a lot of warm weather as it is going to go to the Storm Tracker 21 app. It is 68 right now. First pitch temperature, according to Storm Tracker 21, is 71 degrees with the sun peeking out from the clouds, according to Storm Tracker 21. And we're going to have a great day for baseball and softball. Here's what we'll have on the network. We'll start with baseball first. We're going to have a lot of games on the network, as I see. And we start with 5 o'clock. Alliance at Salem. Derek Rhodes going to have the call there. Then we go into Boardman as Austintown Fitch comes into town for round 2 of that AAC matchup. Alec Caberna going to make the trip to Boardman and be on the call for that one. Should be fun. Austintown Fitch has that 1-0 lead in the series. They're going to look for the series sweep tonight on the baseball diamond. Lisbon will be at East Palestine tonight. 5 o'clock is your first pitch. Quinn and Scott Hinthorn going to be on the call there for baseball. Niles travels to South Range tonight at 5 o'clock. Chris Colucci and Jimmy Powell will be on the call for that. Springfield will go to Lowville. That's going to be at scene 1 at 5 o'clock. Ian O'Brien going to have the call there. Ursuline goes to Canfield tonight. Tim Corso making the trip for that game. 5 o'clock first pitch there. Waterloo will be at Mineral Ridge tonight. Matt Morrison going to have the call for that one. That's also a 5 o'clock start. And then Western Reserve will play Jackson Milton tonight on scene 3 at 5 o'clock. Matt Marr will be on the call there. We'll go on from that to the softball games that'll be on the network tonight. 4 softball games will be featured. Austintown Fitch going to Boardman. I will be there for that one, round 2 of that matchup. Fitch, like the baseball team, looking for the season sweep in the series. Canfield goes to Hoban tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch there. Ty Bartell will be on the call for that YSN matchup for Hoban and Canfield. Liberty will be at Crestview tonight. Noah Doty will be on the call. 5 o'clock is your first pitch. And then Niles goes to South Range. DJ Oakley will have the call there. South Range won 20-0 last night over Niles. They look to win that series tonight and gain more momentum as they look forward to their spring break trip next week. So let's go back up to baseball and tell you the other games that are happening tonight and the ones that you can go out and support your teams. At 4:30, Crestwood will be at Edgewood in round 2 of that one. Edgewood got the win last night for that first game of that series. Kirtland travels to Grand Valley tonight at 4:30 on the baseball field. Lakeside will go to Orange at 4:30 as well. The rest of these games are 5 o'clock first pitches on the baseball diamond. Champion will be at LeBray. Green will be at Louisville. Hubbard will be at Jefferson at 5 o'clock. That should be a good one as Hubbard tries to win that series. Lakeview will go to Girard. Lakeview up 1-0. Liberty will be at Crestview. Crestview up 1-0 in that series. McDonald goes to Sebring. Minerva will go to West Branch tonight. Struthers will be at Poland. Warren Harding will be at Howland. And then Wheeling Park will be at East Liverpool, 5 o'clock first pitch for all those. Softball games that are happening around the area as well. 4:30 first pitch for Perry at Edgewood, a conference matchup there. Champion will be at LeBray tonight. They got the win last night. Gabby Gratishar threw her second no-hitter of the season. Champion up 1-0 in that series. Columbiana will be at Lisbon tonight. Conneaut will be at Pymatuning Valley at 5 o'clock. Garfield travels to Newton Falls. They look to go 2-0 against the Tigers. Jefferson looks to sweep Hubbard as they go to Hubbard tonight at 5 o'clock. Lakeview will be at Girard at 5 o'clock. Lakeview looking to sweep the Indians in the Innie 8. McDonald will be at Sebring at 5. Springfield goes to Lowville at 5 o'clock as well. Struthers will be at Poland, 5 o'clock first pitch there. Warren Harding will be at Howland tonight, 5 o'clock first pitch. Waterloo goes to Middle Ridge for the home opener for the Rams at Seaborn Elementary School. Western Reserve will have another matchup with Jackson Milton as both offenses are hot from last night. 13-11 was the final score last night. So we'll see what the offenses have in store tonight at 5 o'clock. And then last but not least on the softball diamond, we have East at Cardinal Mooney at Field of Dreams, 5 o'clock first pitch there. We'll have tennis on the network tonight as well. Salem will be against Struthers. Bob Zaney will be on the call there for tennis at 3:45 from Struthers. And then YSU baseball in action tonight against Pitt in a non-conference game against the ACC. And that'll be at 5 o'clock as well. Anthony Romo will be on the call for that one. So a lot of baseball, a lot of softball on the network. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 high school baseball games, 4 high school softball games, a high school tennis matchup, and obviously YSU baseball tonight. So, you have a lot of places to look if you want to watch the network. And we are so proud to bring all those to you thanks to our wonderful sponsors on YSN. We thank you for tuning in today. This is going to be the wrap up of today's show. We're going to be back tomorrow with Scotty Mincher on a Wednesday. He's going to have a lot to bring to the table like he always does. We'll recap tonight's action. We'll preview tomorrow's action. And Scotty always brings great stuff in his mind that he wants to talk about himself. So we'll have Scotty on the show tomorrow, and we'll have some fun from 1 to 2. I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. As always, it is brought to you by Greenwood